Good evening, Seth Aiken, City Administrator. As you know, the Bank Street Armory was recently the subject of a request for proposals. There was one proposal to purchase the Armory and convert it into a number of residential apartments. The Armory was, in 2015, the subject of a study by Stark Architects, at which point it was estimated that the cost of total repairs would be between $8 and $9.5 million. In 2023 dollars, that's probably closer to 10 to 12. I consulted a number of contractors who sort of deal in this sort of thing, and that was essentially the number. I do have a handout if you're interested of the breakdown of the costs. In summary, the 2015 study said that there were 3 categories of urgency for repairs. One was immediate, that needed to happen right away. One was short-term, which needed to happen within 3 to 5 years of the 2015 study. And the other was long-term, which would need to happen within 5 to 8 years of the 2015 study. And as you can do the math, we're now at the end of that, the longest period, the 8 years, since the 2015 study. So the majority of the work that's documented would need to be done. There has been work done on the Armory since 2015. One of the chimneys was repointed, and I was actually up there on Friday, and it's still in great shape. And one of the lower, smaller roofs, so if you're standing in front of the Armory, there's a big flat rubber roof that you can see the turrets. Behind that, there's a slightly smaller flat rubber roof. That was replaced. And then the rest is a slate gabled roof. Both the front roof and the slate roof need to be replaced with all the copper flashing and all the stuff that goes with the historical significance of the building. The position of the city is that this is a beautiful building. It would have been amazing if in 2015 we had the resources and the foresight to try to save this building and to keep it for the city to do city events. At this point, we don't feel that the cost is feasible and that the return on that investment would be there. And at this point, it's unclear as to what the purpose of the building would be, especially since when the building was in its heyday, there weren't great venues for basketball and sports. And we all now have quite a few really good basketball courts, both indoor and out, and other venues for sports around the city. That's not the only purpose. There is incredible nostalgia and history in this building. But because it does appear that the cost of rehabilitating the building would be $10 to $12 million, and because housing is needed, and because any project would work closely with the Historical Commission to make sure that the envelope, the exterior of the building would maintain largely its current personality and historical significance, the position of the city is that the sale is the better way to go. It would allow us to have a building that has residential use, is rehabilitated, is preserved in a certain way, maybe just not in exactly the way that many folks remember that building. So I can answer any questions. Certainly sensitive to the fact that this would have been an amazing building to save, but I think the years have certainly taken a toll on it.
Council seat 6, Council Vice President Pereira.
Yeah, I objected to this when it came before us. And you're right, a study was done by Stark Architect in 2015, and I read the study, and some work was repaired. Some of the work was completed. And I know that it's been 8 years and people haven't done anything with it because of lack of funding, I'm assuming, to get that done. But with ARPA money, both the city ARPA money, the Bristol County ARPA money, with the preservation and the Historic Society, they're never brought to the table when things like this are discussed, and they should be. Why do we have, a Preservation Committee, Historic Commission, and never bring people to the table when we're talking about things being preserved? What other monies are out there? Are there grants out there? I'm not saying that you have to fix this building within a year or two, but if you had a plan, and you have some money now that could be used for that, but if there was a plan, we have gotten rid of so many things in Fall River that it's our history. And future generations will not have the ability, to go into the Armory. Sure, we're going to make housing. Everybody is, on the edge that we need housing now, which we do. But you can't just be turning everything into housing. And there were a lot of events that could be there. And honestly, I would have put a tourism office there. Because then people come into the city, they come there, they check what's going on. Once you get the trolleys, have a trolley stop there where people can come around. Think outside of the box to get things done. People will rent it. You'll make money on it because people will rent it for varied events. I'm probably, not going to be successful in saying keep it. You're going to say we don't have the money. We have the money for things that we really want to do, and sometimes other things we can't find the money for. And I understand with, the new high schools being built, that the city is going to be in a financial struggle to meet all of those costs. I just cannot, in good conscience, and I think the proposal that was given, Mr. Alan McNamara put in a proposal, I think his proposal is good, and I think he's done a wonderful job. So it's certainly not about him in any way. He's done a great job with the tech building and stuff and other adventures that he's been in. I think he's a good developer, and we do have some really good developers in the city. I'm totally against selling it. Whatever we have to come up with, whatever we have to do, people would do fundraising to save a building like this. And then it was dedicated to veterans. Yes, it needs an elevator. But, the CPA will give you money for an elevator. They gave Academica Club money for an elevator because of the history there. You don't think that they would give money here, and that's the city's money. That's our money. We can agree to disagree on this. I don't know that you'll have the votes here. I've not really discussed it with anybody. It's just a personal feeling I have that I just think we get rid of too much of our history. That's just my opinion. With that, I yield, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. Any further questions? There be no further questions, Seth.
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Seth.
Just one point, Mr. President.
Councilor Sotri,
Procedurally, this
Councilor
will go to the Committee on Real Estate in the near future, I believe, so.
It's got to be voted here to be
It'll be
referred,
vented.
doesn't it?
When there's a sale of public property, it'll go to real estate, and it'll be vented there, then we'll have an opportunity to speak more about that transfer when the recommendation comes to the full council. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor, for clarifying that. You're correct.